Onivia, League of Legends highlights.
Yeah, no, that's not what we do here. And,
It's going to be now.
I think Na would make the most sense when it comes to T1 and Canna just in general.
Yeah.
I liked all of the other hovers a lot more. However,
the game is really interesting as it will be the Ocean Drake going over with the Prio on bot side and Ono on top side of the map. Not a lot to be done about that, unfortunately. And again, using that great pushing power that you point.
yeah, and if you look at the stats, you wouldn't be too sad as a T1 fan, as right now you're certainly not, as Morgan is just going to get taken out pretty comfortably here. Ona's going to turn into a Camille for a little while. And that's going to help take down a bit of this turret. Of course, no plating, so not going to be able to collect that, but still first turret blood to go over to T1. And maybe it's just a little bit later, but now the advantages are starting to come through for T1.
Yeah.
So then you're going to have better setup.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm loving it. This is a really good look, and I think Deft individual cool game Atlas.
It is certainly a lot more cerebral than I was expecting. I was kind of expecting a bit of a snowball here, but it's not the way that it has turned out. As we've got one Dragon apiece and a Mountain Soul on the Rift is just here today, as we do have a little bit of trading. And Morgan is going to get a nice little stun there. Ona does come through, but Viscera and Willa are closing in. There's the ulti from Morgan. Can they lock down Ona? It's a big Nara into the wall. Ona tries to flash away, but Morgan is immediately after him. Now Canna down to about half as Vista has to flash away. Good safeguard to help keep him safe. But Willa's going to have to sacrifice himself for it as Chovy has now teleported in. Chains will connect onto Kerry, who gets taken down low. Now Deft trying to funnel them through here. Doesn't have the arrow, but there's the volley onto Faker. Claw of Doom to come through as Faker may have sacrificed himself, but no, he has the Frozen Tomb. And now Morgan diving in one more time. T1, their health bars are so low, but it does not matter. They finish off the Camille and win out in the skirt. To remember the Tomb. And then you're basically fine. As now Faker, he's not so fine. He's going to have to claw his way over that wall and does so. As we are just going to see Hanwha Esports take down this outer turret. Pillar Nom, that is about that. As we've got 10 seconds on this first Mountain Drake of the game. You can see neither team wanting to give this one up. Claw comes through. It's a really nice pillar, as we're not going to be able to get over the wall, and Willa will just be taken down. Beautifully cancelled there. No safeguard for you, my friend, as now Carrier in a bit of trouble. That's an exhaust immediately onto Chovy. He does have to use that Mimic Distortion to get himself over the other wall. And now Hanwha Esports on the definite defense, as Canna has a big knob up, but will be slowed down by that frost shot as Chovy getting really chunked here by T1, who should be able to go over and grab their first Mountain Drake of the game. I'm feeling a shift, Chronicler. I feel like T1 have really gathered some control here since the mid-game.
It's been really nicely done. I think even the early game, where Hanwha Life was able to get a couple of leads, you saw that T1 was very clearly also playing defensively, where Ona's main job, because we saw the early Prio from Hanwha Life, and I think that Hanwha Life later on that really nicely as Kana is going to get collapsed upon.
Yeah, that's going to be a really nice stun there from the hook shot immediately. The ulti comes out. And the ultimatum was pretty brutal onto Canada, who will just be eviscerated. But the rest of T1 now moving towards this mid lane. And they will hopefully be able to trade something for the death of their Nah, but no, not going to be able to quite do it here, as the arrow's going to connect onto Faker, denied the claw, as the kick actually moves more to save him, as Willer is going to get ulted by the Lulu. Now Deft trying to chase after them. Chovy looking for Carrier, as Faker goes golden for some reason. Might have been a little bit of a mistake, but does find the claw once again. But Vista will be able to take him down. Now the rest of Hanwha Esports, they're so mobile. They're closing in. And it is going to be Carrier taken down. Deft destroying one of his best friends. Very sad, but this is the Rift. It is do or die for these players.
Help us low.
Very much trying to deny this. Gumayushi is still uber dangerous.
There's Kana
against Hanwha Esports, but so is Deft. Close to full health as Guma looking to try and take the blast going, but Deft finds the auto attack. And Will is still keeping this Baron leash. Now Canna's trying to get out of there, but the frost shot is slowing him down, and Hanwha Esports are just killing them one by one. Canna now trying to turn this, does almost have the Narbar, but he's polymobbed. And he was adorable before. He's even more adorable and then dead, unfortunately, in T1. And that's only going to even augment that further, as that's a flash over the wall from Chovy. Faker just dives in on top of him. as he does get the Whimsy shield, but now out of the fight as Ona dives into the pit, but he's just taken down. Willa will be exhausted, but all 5 members are still alive on Hanwha Life, and they're the ones with a smite in this pit. No, they're not actually. Willa, it's on cooldown as Morgan looking to dive in. This is going to be shaky because they have to try and wait out a smite or just try and battle it with the damage that they have. They look for the turn instead, and Morgan just takes down the backline. Faker going golden, but unfortunately, he is not going to be able to do anything in the shadow of his own trophy provided by Carrier. He will be taken out. Gumyushi over the wall. Just don't think he's going to be able to do anything. And Hanwha, they win another fight, and it looks like this time they'll be able to get a Baron.
And it is an all-or-nothing attempt to try and take down Chovy. And as it turns out, it's not 78 health on the Baron. That could have been a bizarre fight. Ultimate's already used. Gumayushi doesn't get any damage done.
Not really, and Deft does so much. Just watching him constantly kiting, starting all the fights whenever he wants to with his arrow. Now has himself his QSS, so he's just not afraid of anything that T1 can put down. I was actually skeptical of the fact that he took heal instead of cleanse, but you're just going to build yourself a QSS. I guess you don't necessarily need it. Plus he has a Lulu as Ona takes half of his health bar as Chovy just goes over and gives him a hug. A very dangerous hug.
This is just an insane game for Deft. Like, we've seen glimpses of this Deft, I think, throughout some if we go back to some of the games, but it never came together for Hanwha Life. Well, not that much has happened. Base has not been broken open definitively, but of course the state right now for T1 isn't great. Faker!
Oh yeah, Faker just going to be chain CC'd, and he can't even claw his way out. Now Morgan looking for Carrier. He's put into the Hextech ultimatum, and he doesn't have the answer for it. It's a double kill for Chovy, and Hanwha Life Esports now have a purple worm on a silver platter.
And I was just about to launch it. How can T1 come back? Because while it's unlikely, it's not impossible. They do still have a lot of initial blow-up power, but you need Faker. You need it. All starts with that Lissandra. Because Lissandra is the one that sets up for a possible Gnar play, right? If Kana finds a multi-man stun, that's fine. But without the setup, probably not getting that.
On anti-owner duty. Let's see what they can do. They dive into the pit alongside him. He goes golden, but the Baron not in smite range just yet. The Baron's going to be taken by Willa, and the Viego is taken down as well. Faker has teleport, necessarily known for, right?
For tank.
Yeah, absolutely. But this is like team fighting Camille, but also skirmishing, like being aggressive, and that is what Morgan really has been lacking. Not this game. He's looked real good as, oh my goodness, that little tap onto Gumiyushi will send him packing, as this inhibitor will be the first one to go down, as Hanwha Life Esports really putting the screws in. Morgan splitting on the bottom side. Willa's in the mid lane. We've got all of these waves just greeting T1. This Nexus tower going down extraordinarily quickly with these double siege minions.
They can't even clear.
Yeah, Chovy going to be able to get out of there with the distortion. The claw is not going to be opted in for whatsoever. And the next inhibitor will go down, and everything's just falling like dominoes in the T1 base. And now just all grouping under this one last lone bastion of hope. And it's another arrow that connects onto Faker. He does manage to get his Zhonya's off as everyone's going golden. Faker is now going to use his ultimate, but it's not going to be enough. Chovy just dives in on top of him now. Ona trying to keep himself alive as Morgan's right in there in the backline, and the wallets are so heavy. Hanwha are flashing forward, and Kana will be the last one to go down. Hanwha Life Esports, a clean ace outside of Willa falling down, and the Nexus will also fall. 38 minutes, and Hanwha Life Esports will topple T1.